If you've been getting bored of the virtual space and want to spice up your gaming life by bringing the magic of VR into your actual room with this little magic face toaster, then do I have a games listing for you. What's up, internet? Today I decided to help some of you out who've been really wanting to know what you can play in Meta's most highly marketed feature, mixed reality. It seems like everywhere I turn, there's some kind of Quest 3 ad talking about the virtual world and bringing it into your own space through mixed reality. And for clarification, the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro can utilize mixed reality as well. With the Quest Pro, it lacks a depth sensor, so it may confuse your play space setup from time to time on how far away objects are based off your perspective. And the Quest 2 will have the same issue along with being black and white, but these games are able to be played with the 2 and the Pro. They just may not perform as well. And if you want to learn how to get some paid games for free, I'll have a short, non-sponsored segment in here about being a VR games tester. But in case you wanted to experience mixed reality before slapping some cash on a paid title, I'm going to be showing you what you can get for free right now. This one is a Sword Art Online fan-made game that was featured in some of the shorts that I uploaded recently. You can respawn in various blades, guns, utilize magic, and choose your opponent as well. Some of the stuff in there is fairly low poly, but being able to just turn off my brain and have fun in here with slicing and dicing through enemies brought me more joy than I expected. Seeing creatures look like they belong to games back on my N64 come to life in a virtual setting was truly awesome. Additionally, having the downtown of the city that I live in as a background was pretty sweet too, with getting to play this on my rooftop. Also, I do want to note that one of the criticisms that I heard people saying about this game is that the enemies can just quote-unquote move through furniture, and that's mainly because at the time of this recording, I didn't actually set up the furniture in my play space, so I just set up my floor level, which if you set it up properly, they do actually try to avoid the objects in your play space. And you don't even need to have as much room as I do either. I was playing this in a smaller room beforehand, and I was still having a lot of fun. So regardless, even if you have a small play space or didn't set it up correctly, you can still have fun by just slashing away at enemies. In addition to the mixed reality, this game also features hand tracking, so you can just grip your hand without an actual controller in it and start swinging. But if you want to make sure that you're not rude to the enemies that you're facing, then you might like taking turns with them in this next title. This is a turn-based dungeon crawler where you attempt to save other beings who are trapped inside of a simulation. The properties of the simulation dictate that item-based attacks like swords or guns will hurt yourself as well as the enemy, because apparently everybody in there blocks with a new and a reverse card. However, you are the main character, and although you don't have plot armor, you have the next best thing: literal hacks. But hacks is actually spelled H-A-X, which is basically this game's version of spells. It's got a lot of classic mechanics of looting, leveling up, purchasing upgrades, so you can hope that you get lucky in the dungeon and obtain what you want through looting, or just sell whatever you looted and purchase what you really want. There is mountains of content in here, from the different hacks that you can collect to the discoverable enemy types, the dungeons that just seem to keep going. Not only that, but you can explore these dungeons in first and third person. Like I said in the beginning, this is a turn-based game. You will get to attack by physically moving your arms to attack them based off of what you choose, and then you'll have to physically move in your play space to dodge their attacks. There's a bunch of different speeds and patterns to the attacks that each enemy will use, and some enemies even have multiple attacks, so make sure to stay on your toes. Physically moving to dodge the attacks, though, is incredible, and although the game is only free on the demo, I think that you'll have a fantastic time. But if you'd rather destroy your own walls rather than the enemy, then this next game might make you feel right at home. This is a game about dismantling your home for resources, and no, I don't mean to start selling your kitchen appliances on eBay. You can actually set up your own personal hub to your specific play space and accept missions to collect resources and level up your experience. Throughout the expeditions, you'll have phases of getting to use your detector to find resources in your play space, use a pickaxe to dig into the walls, and use your shovel to dig into the floor. And when it's all said and done, collect your resources with a vacuum and bring them back to your hub. You can choose to sell them for profit or feed them to your companion to level them up. The best part is that the caves can actually be configured to how you have your play space set up so you feel like your home was converted into a cave. And there's also sections later where you can battle monsters, but I didn't make it that far yet. However, if you want your home to have an extra companion that's based off of AI rather than it just being a floating robot, then you might be interested in this next title. I'm not gonna lie, this is a game that I thought was very questionable when I first saw it. But it has some pretty cool applications for what you can do in it. It's basically having a virtual companion in your home that runs off of ChatGPT. You can put it in mixed or virtual reality, designate your name, choose how it addresses you, and even do things like change their avatar based on free models that were uploaded to the app through mod.io. Which, for those of you unfamiliar with the platform of mod.io, for context, it's also the same platform that Contractors VR uses for all of their mods like TF2, Halo, Halo, Star Wars, etc. I can talk to Widowmaker from Overwatch, Tracer from Overwatch, a Juggernaut, Cameraman, or, oh dear god, is that Monica? But not all the mods are fully fleshed out. It also has a chat log, so it can actually learn from the conversations you have with the AI as you progress. You can ask open-ended questions like how the AI thinks about the night sky, or about politics, which I then quickly had to throw her away before she got the whole video demonetized. But overall, I think it's really cool to have a virtual AI companion appear in my home next to me. However, if you want wide access to exclusive titles for free as well, then you might like this program. I wanted to tell you all about a fairly recent program that's been gaining some traction in the VR space known as Impact Labs. No, this is not a sponsored segment, but something that I think will be beneficial for all of you. Long story short, it's a community that developers get in contact with. They request for their games to be tested to receive feedback on it, and players get to receive the game for free in exchange for giving feedback. And most of the ones that go through this program are actually still under development, so you would get exclusive access to titles that aren't even announced yet. They have a bunch of different categories of games like FPS, racing, fighting, and a bunch of other types of games that go through their program. And I know that we've all played that game that we're like, hey, this would be way better if they tweaked this one thing. Well, instead of leaving a store review that the developer might see, now you get to give unlimited feedback that is curated and sent straight to the developers. I'll be leaving a link where you can sign up to get access, and I'll be letting my friend over at the program know to keep a lookout for anybody who applies while name dropping me. So you'll have a higher priority of getting your application looked at first. But let's get back to the showcase with something that I think you adventure fans might love. The quick explanation is that this is basically like a mixed reality Moss or Max Muster. You control the main character from a third-person perspective to traverse through different levels, getting from point A to point B with different obstacles, puzzles, monsters, and collectibles along the way. You can rotate each level as well as set the verticality for the best possible experience. The visuals are pretty low poly, and there isn't a ton of other content in there other than the features that I already listed, but being able to see this level as if it came out of an early Nintendo game just appear in my living room space is pretty cool in of itself. I'm holding on to hope though that they'll add in more content or have the ability to add in mods, because I would love nothing more than to explore these levels while controlling Mario. But let's switch back to a first-person perspective and give you a proper workout so you can be the main character. XR Workout, previously known as VR Workout, which they're still switching over a lot of their assets as of the time when I recorded this, is a VR and mixed reality workout game, if you couldn't tell by the title. Similar to Beat Saber in terms of rhythms and hitting cues, but it tries to utilize the entire body. It has the ability to configure objectives per workout to properly have you do things like jogging, crunches, and other workouts while inside your headset. And if you're worried about your controllers getting sweaty, this game constantly keeps up with the latest version of hand tracking, so you never feel like you're at a disadvantage without your controllers. It also has features in there like being able to talk to robots like your personal gym assistants. You can tell them to pause the workout, skip a certain part of the workout if you think you can't handle it, and more. Additionally, it has multiplayer for working out with your friends and the ability to play your own songs through YouTube. So the AI inside the game will actually make custom cues pop up according to the rhythm of the song that you pick. So of course, I had to play the B1 Battle Droid singing Fortunate Son. Overall, it's an impressive free mixed reality game that can really make you sweat. But if you'd rather be dealing with a less gross liquid than sweat, then you might like this next title a little bit more. This game is all about creativity to your heart's content, where you build fish tanks according to the orders that you receive, but you have full creative reign to go anywhere outside of the specifications. So, for example, the order may say to put in 4 pieces of driftwood, but you can choose the driftwood that you place in there and its positioning. You can also go above and beyond the requirements, like here where the order requested 2 fish, but I put in 4 just because I thought it would look cooler. Good luck with those extra mouths to feed sucker because I'm still getting paid. But that's the essence of this game. Obtain an order from a client, build their fish tank, sell it to them, profit, and use the money to build better and cooler fish tanks. Be careful what you put in there though, because everything costs money, and it's better to gain than lose money on these jobs. And although we just got done talking about a bunch of water, let's move into a non-liquid type of pool. Growing up, I always loved poker, darts, and especially pool, which is awesome that there's a game in here that allows me to have a full pool setup with just bringing around my headset. If you have any interest in pool at all, I think that you'll like this game. It has the ability to play different modes, you can play against scalable AI as well as other players, and for a free game, the mesh colliders, aka the physics and how the balls interact with each other, are some of the most accurate that I've seen for a free Quest game, and it's definitely worth a download. But overall, yeah, it's not very complex. It is a pool game that's free, and it's enjoyable to me. Even when I was trying to get more space on my Quest lately, I refused to uninstall this game because of how much joy it brings me. But if you'd rather, I can't think of a clever transition for this one. Here's an adventure game with stabbing people. I don't know. Mythic Realms brings an entire adventure to your room, transforming your play space with nature and even breaking open your ceiling to drop enemies from. Fight skeletons, slimes, and for some reason take orders from this guy, even though he looks like he should be the main villain. I mean, just look at those fingers. But regardless of how he looks, he brings you to a place where enemies can't spawn into. There's an entire town that you can build from a third-person perspective and then jump into virtual reality in first person. Then you leave the town on various quests as enemies spawn into your play space, and as you defeat them, you gather their loot as well as the natural resources around to build up the town. It's a fairly unique concept of a game that's pretty cool to have in VR. However, if you want to take the adventure into a permanent third person, then this next title might be pretty fun. This is a game where, similar to Astral Guardian, is to get from point A to point B, but instead you're guiding resources and collecting them on various tracks that you build. You can change their directions, use different tools that you unlock to conquer certain obstacles, and more. I think it's pretty cool overall as a concept, and it can also utilize your entire play space to different boards that you interact with throughout the different levels. However, with me being on a cord to record the best quality footage for this video, it didn't make completing this game any easier despite it being cool. But in an ideal wireless setting, you can just walk around your play space and interact with these different boards however you like. Well, there you have it, 10 free mixed reality games that you can download right now. Thank you for giving me your attention today, and I hope that you can see more of this other stuff that my channel has to offer, like the free games showcases, the comedy, and other gameplay, because it really helps me out whenever people on the channel watch and interact with all my videos, allowing me to make more stuff like this. So if you enjoyed it, see the other stuff that I have to offer so I can come back to these showcases soon. Thank you all for being here, much love, and good night.